back to the Tempest. Sorry about the abrupt ending to the last recording. I was interrupted. Okay, so Prospero's just finished talking about how he's going to break his staff and drown his book, otherwise known as giving up magic. But he has some more magic to do. Solemn music, which we know indicates magic. Prospero traces out a circle on the stage. He's going to remove the charm or the spell that is on Alonso, Sebastian, and Antonio, and the others. Okay, so Prospero's completely in control. Their stand, for you are spell stopped. He has complete control over these people. And he addresses them, even though they can't actually hear him at this point because they are under his spell. So Gonzalo, and he talks about the goodness of Gonzalo, good Gonzalo, my true preserver, and a loyal sir to him thou followest. I will pay thy graces. So everyone's being rewarded as they deserve. Okay, Alonso, he talks about Alonso and Alonso's crimes against Prospero, and also for Sebastian and for Antonio. And also talks about Antonio and Sebastian's not only their crimes against him, Prospero, but also their failed attempt to usurp Alonso as well. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. So we see here the forgiveness. I do forgive thee, unnatural though thou art. So he emphasizes here their lack of natural brotherly love. So Antonio usurped his brother, and also, of course, Sebastian planned to kill his brother and usurp him. Okay, so we see their understanding begins to swell, and the approaching tide will shortly fill the reasonable shore that now lies foul and muddy. So their understanding is beginning to flood back into their brains like the tide fills a muddy shore. Prospero redresses in his ducal robes as the Duke of Milan. Ariel will be set free soon. He sings his little song about freedom and how he's looking forward to it. And he sends Ariel off to fetch the master and the bosun from Act 1, Scene 1, and to return them to where he is. Off he goes. Gonzalo wakes up and he is amazed. And Prospero speaks to Alonso. Behold, Sir King, the wronged Duke of Milan, Prospero. For more assurance that a living prince does now speak to thee, I embrace thy body. And to thee and thy company I bid a hearty welcome. He embraces Alonso. So there we have a sort of physical representation of his forgiveness. The rarer action is in virtue than in vengeance. Alonso doesn't know if he can believe what is happening. He's still astonished. Why on earth would Prospero be here? How strange. But he says, thy dukedom I resign, and do entreat thou pardon me my wrongs. So we see that Alonso is transformed. Look at this humble diction. He entreats, he begs, thou pardon me my wrongs. And look again how he owns his sin, and he acknowledges, thou pardon me my wrongs. He takes responsibility for them. He's humble, he's penitent, he definitely shows contrition. which, as we recall, is the only solution for avoiding lingering perdition, as Ariel says in Act 3, Scene 3. Okay, Prospero embraces Gonzalo, so lots of reconciliation going on here. People are being returned to their proper places. Prospero is being returned to his position as Duke. By dukedom I resign. We see that Alonso is transformed into a better person. We see Prospero is transformed into a better person, a more forgiving, compassionate person, as opposed to the vindictive person, the angry person that he was earlier. Prospero, he speaks to Sebastian and Antonio, who do not seem particularly penitent, and he lets them know that he's aware of their plot to kill Alonso. And he says, "At this time, I will tell no tales," but he doesn't make any promises about the future. Sebastian says, "The devil speaks in him." "No. For you, most wicked sir," so he's addressing Antonio here, his brother, who usurped him, "whom to call brother would even infect my mouth, I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them." So, we see again he's talking about Antonio, and he's using this very critical diction, "most wicked sir." And again, he's emphasizing how Antonio has perverted the natural relationship of love and trust between brothers here. "Whom to call brother would even infect my mouth." And that's a metaphor of pollution. If you look down in your footnote, he's saying, "To call you brother would pollute my mouth," which doesn't sound particularly forgiving, but he does go on to say, "I do forgive thy rankest fault, all of them." So he emphasizes the magnitude of Antonio's sins against him, but that just serves to make his forgiveness of Antonio all the more generous, all the more magnanimous. Okay, so Alonso's still trying to catch up with what's going on. "If thou beest, Prospero, give us particulars of thy preservation, how thou hast met us here, who 3 hours since were wracked upon this shore." So the whole action of this play has taken place in these 3 hours. "Where I have lost, how sharp the point of this remembrance is, my dear son Ferdinand." So we have this metaphor here, the sharpness of this point of remembrance, which shows his ongoing pain and suffering. And Prospero, instead of saying, "Oh, Ferdinand is alive," he says, "Oh, I'm very sorry for it, sir." So we've got quite a bit of dramatic irony going on here, because we know that Ferdinand is alive and engaged to Miranda. Prospero says he has also suffered a similar loss, and he's playing with words here. Yes, he's losing Miranda, but not in the sense of death, but in the sense of marriage. "I have lost my daughter." "A daughter? Oh heavens, that they were living both in Naples, the king and queen there." So lots of dramatic irony, because the audience knows that this will in fact turn out to eventually be the case. "That they were, I wish myself were mudded in that oozy bed where my son lies." So Alonso expresses this wish a number of times through the play. "When did you lose your daughter?" "In this last tempest," says Prospero. Yes, so the tempest is what caused them all to be on the island and to unite, to come together, to reconcile, and of course Ferdinand and Miranda's engagement is part of that. Okay, so coming down here, "I am Prospero, and that very duke which was thrust forth of Milan to be the lord on it. Coming down as well, he takes Alonso to see Ferdinand and Miranda playing at chess. So it says he discovers them. It's more like uncovers. He reveals to Alonso Ferdinand and Miranda playing at chess. And if you look at your footnotes, you'll see that chess is a game associated with aristocratic love. Sweet lord, you play me false. No, my dearest love, I would not for the world. Yes, for a score of kingdoms you should wrangle, and I would call it fair play. So Miranda says, well, even if you did cheat me, I love you so much that I would say that was fair. And Alonso is overjoyed, and so is Ferdinand. Though the seas threaten, they are merciful. I've cursed them without cause. He kneels before Alonso. Because, of course, Ferdinand also thought that Alonso was dead. So here again, the play is coming to an end. Order is being restored. Sons are restored to fathers. Fathers are restored to sons. A happy ending. All the blessings of a glad father compass thee about. And Miranda says, oh, wonder, how many goodly creatures are there here! How beauteous mankind is, O brave new world that has such people in it. Prospero says, 'tis new to thee. So we see a number of things here. Miranda's innocence and naivety, her discovery of mankind, her optimistic perspective. So this shows us her association with the New World, and the New World is associated with freshness, purity, innocence. And of course, this is also an implicit criticism of the corruption of the Old World. So we have this irony here, how beauteous mankind is. But she's looking at, the three men of sin, the corrupt, devious politicians, Alonso, Antonio, and Sebastian. So are they beauteous? Not especially. They're people who've done a lot of wrong. But she's innocent and does not realise that, and her innocence is contrasted with their corruption and cynicism. Oh, brave new world, she says. She's talking about the world they come from, which is Europe, which is actually the old world. Oh, brave new world. So again, that irony there. And she sees it as a new world. And Prospero says, 'tis new to thee, underlining, of course, that it's not new, it's old, it's corrupt. So we wonder what changes Miranda will bring to this old world. Is it a union, perhaps, of the best aspects of the old world and the new world, with Ferdinand and Miranda being betrothed? And that ends our recap of today's lesson.